Welcome back to Brews and Business. Today we've got some special guest on the show, and I'll introduce him here in just a moment. He's been on the show a couple other times. We have some coffee that we're going to taste real quick, too, from a local roaster. And, of course, we got some new merch on the website. We have some notepads, some stickers, some cups, can cooler, things like that. A lot of really cool things. Today's brew is brought to you by Gregrin Coffee Roasters. They're based out of Owasso, Oklahoma, and we're going to try their espresso blend. It's got a various process from various regions. It's supposed to have some Snickers notes. An espresso that's dropping like it's hot.
That was a sweet.
That's a sweet.
It was just roasted a few days ago. It's a medium to dark roast. And these guys over here went ahead and shot theirs.
Well,
But
I can test it again.
now you can
We
lick the
can test it
rim
again. There
or
you go.
whatever. Yeah.
Oh, there's
All
still
right,
a little
so
bit.
cheers. Yeah, there's still a little bit. So it's delicious. I rated this at an 8.4 yesterday. I thought it was really good. So thank you so much, Gregor. And then without further ado, Kyle Sullivan, Unleash the Champ, man. How are you?
Come on now. Glad to be back. It's been super fun the last few months, and glad to be back. It was round 4, we said. So
Yeah. Yeah, round four here. I was adding that up earlier, and I was like, I didn't get a chance to look at all the episodes. That we
I want to say
recorded,
it's
but
been 4 times.
This is the 4th. Yeah.
yeah, so I was like, man, I'm home.
Yeah, well, welcome back home. So, man.
Did you notice we moved your house a little bit?
Yeah, I know it's incredible. Yeah, it's awesome.
It really is.
Same
It's
zip
cool
code,
space.
though.
Yeah, same.
Didn't move very far.
Yeah. Blue Studios offered us the space to go from like a 10 by 12 to like 800 square feet and stuff. So it's a little bit more open. So I'm not so like you're breathing and it's like, shh, stop breathing. It's getting hot in here.
Right.
I need a fan.
Yeah, we did that. We put
Yeah,
a
we
little
put
fan up
fans
to the
underneath
side.
for
Yeah.
like the first couple.
If we kick on the air in here, it gets cold quick.
Okay.
So if you start breathing heavy, just let me
okay.
know. I'll turn on the air.
Nice. Yeah.
All right. So what you been up to, man?
Dude,
What's going on?
it's been awesome. Family's great. My daughter's going to pre-K in August, so I'm messed up about that. And they told us like, hey, after like the first month, you just gotta like send her in. And I'm like, the heck, what? So so that's good. My son turns 3, and in July, my daughter will be in school in August, turn 5, and July 1st will be the start of year 5 of Unleash the Champ, which is wild.
One of the biggest goals that you had in 23 was 32 and 23.
That's right.
And how'd that goal go? So
Yeah,
last time we talked, I think it was sometime in November, December.
Yep. So I ended with 81 speaking events that year.
In the beginning of the year, you were worried if you were going to hit it at first.
Right.
You were like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'd just come off the speaking event, speaking competition, and thought, oh, yeah, that's a good, aggressive goal. And, just amazing how God works. And every event led to another one. And so it's super cool. It's really changed how the business works. Because now probably 75% of what I do is just corporate training. And so that year doing all those speaking events, now companies bring me in for basically like a fractional training and development director. So it's really cool.
So give us a quick recap about what you do.
Yeah. So now Unleash the Champs, I'm a professional speaker, corporate trainer, and then leadership consultant on the back end. And so still do some one-on-one and small group coaching, but most of it now is like legit consulting work and working with companies longer term, like the Cherokee's one of my clients now, and a couple credit unions, and it's in-house management training.
So what does that mean?
Yeah, so I have a whole product suite now. So kind of the cornerstone is 10 modules. So it's 40 hours of training, talking about the role of a leader, managing different personalities, managing change, clear work direction, goes through, it's 4 10-hour sessions, or 10 4-hour sessions. And so it's 40 hours of training, and a lot of the training now can be CE credits. And so got those approved. And so people, they got to do that continuing education. So it works out.
That's so important, especially as companies get, as businesses grow and become companies per se, with a certain number of people and employees, the more people that you add, the more skill sets that certain people have to acquire. Learning how to perform your trade or your craft or skill, going to those who into management, to learning how to manage people is completely different skill sets. And,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the biggest challenges is people get promoted because they're good doers, but not necessarily good leaders.
Right.
And so that leadership piece of it, and a lot of times just having somebody that is familiar with the weight of leadership, but is outside of their company, allows for greater transparency. And so a lot of times when I come in and work with a leadership team, I'm meeting with a one-on-one, and then I will give insights from sessions to the executive leadership team or whatever, but I don't talk about names. I don't talk about who said what. I just say what was said. And it gives a chance for some
Feedback.
anonymous feedback, and people are way more likely to share instead of a boss saying, all right, so tell me what's going on. Crickets. But
No one says a word.
But they'll tell me, and then I can meet with the leader and say, hey, here's some things that you should be mindful of.
Kind of have two thoughts following up behind that. Is one, like, do you have to kind of teach some of these executives or leaders how to communicate, and not just communicate numbers, but then follow up on that, but then also how to manage those people and be empathetic or sympathetic and know, hey, we have a work environment, we have to get things done. Here are the numbers, but then also what's going on in your life.
Absolutely.
Right.
And one of the things that shocks most executive leaders that we don't remind ourselves of is now, since graduations are happening, high school graduations are happening, there's 5 generations in the workforce right now.
Oh, I've heard
that.
about this.
Yeah, I remember that.
So this senior class this year is the oldest age of the Gen Alpha. So Gen Alpha, Gen Z, Millennials, Gen X, and Boomers are all still in the workforce.
And isn't Boomers and Z the two, like, one of them is majority, I don't remember which one, of the workforce. And
So
as soon as Boomers
Yep.
retire, as soon as that generation goes, then you have the generations in between, to where there's going to be a huge hiring gap and issue until Gen Z gets old enough and skilled enough to kind of replace and filter back through. So it's almost like we went through a wave. And now we're doing this. Now we're waiting for that next wave to come through. Is that about right?
Yeah, and the biggest thing there is that every generation works differently, desires differently,
Wants different cultures.
wants different cultures. And that's why a lot of times when I work with an executive leader, they're not very keen on saying they're wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we're not.
Right.
I'm just kidding.
And so they'll say it's the team or the team this, team this. So like one of my modules that I do is it's 5 sessions with a team, and it's transforming team communication. And so we work through defining the leadership voice, and then it's all team focused. So the leader is okay hearing about it.
Right.
And then we talk about, okay, well, what are you as the leader? How are you communicating to them? Are they hearing it? Because communication and hearing are very different things.
Right now we're going through discussions of attendance and PTO and kind of making sure everyone's accountable. And for the most part, like, the culture that we've built here, as from what everyone's told me, is unique.
So good. So perfect.
It's so perfect.
It's so great.
Except that one thing.
And
There's always
my
that
wife
one
works
thing.
on the corporate side of things. Their corporate side has 73 locations across the U.S., and she's part of one of those locations. And so it's a huge organization, and it's 8 to 5. You just show up on time. You don't leave until 5. If you have to work after hours or weekends, sorry, you have to work after hours or weekends.
Sure.
Hey, your dog is sick. You have to go home. Okay, well, we have to clock that, track that, whatever. And while like today, I had a call with my HR manager, and like there are some guidelines behind that you have to follow, but there's some leniency in that too. That's where like we got to figure out what the people want in the culture versus what is fair for the business, right? So there has to be some harmony in that. But the statement that I made, the quote was, the people that work here are the culture. I can help set the tone, but then they're going to tell me what tone that they want that at. Whatever analogy you want to put that at, and so like I can be like, hey, you gotta, I want the work life to be like this time wise, or these kind of benefits, things that happen here, or hey, on Fridays we do lunch days, or whatever that culture looks like, quote unquote, or even just the day to day stuff and how we communicate and how we process things and how we just interact with each other on a day to day basis. The people that are hired here build the culture. I can only do so much about that. I can influence it.
Right. Yeah, you set and influence it, but the people make it.
Mm-hmm. And they keep it, which is the kind of the more important part, I think, because at least for us, and I'm sure it's kind of a similar situation for you, is like you hit that culture spot, right? Where you're just like, wow, everybody here seems to like each other. We all kind of got each other's back. You know, we have healthy discussions. We'll leave it that way, you know, but in the grand scheme of things, we understand the goal. We're all working together. But as you continue to grow, that has a tendency to change, right? You add somebody and that changes. You lose somebody and that changes, and so on and so forth. Or life happens to somebody and that changes. And it's like, it's really nice once you hit that level of culture. And if you have the right influencing factors, I guess is what I would call it, whatever that may be, you know, really your team kind of keeps that culture for you. You know, they'll hold your team accountable for the new guy that comes in. It's like, well, at that point, you know, part of the culture isn't necessarily the 8 to 5, isn't, for instance, like set off right away. For me, something I would relate it to is like we start at 8 o'clock in the wintertime, and in the springtime we start at 7. Everybody knows it. Nobody says it. They're just like, oh, time change. We start at 7 next week. And it's just that. And it's like, well, you don't have to portray it to the end. It's part of the culture, right? Because everybody knows when time changes, oh, thank God, we don't have to go until 8.
You get to sleep in a little bit.
Hey, that means wintertime's coming. The wintertime slowdown's coming. So, you know, it's like culture. There's all kinds of different methods and you know, ways that the culture is influenced, but your team will continue that culture for you to where you almost don't even have to remind yourself. You're just like, well, the team kind of carries that culture on for the next guy and the next guy and the next guy. And they'll remind you, hey, you remember whenever we did X, Y, Z, or isn't this a paid holiday, or isn't it's like, oh yeah, thanks for holding me accountable.
Right.
I forgot.
Yeah, right. It happens.
Culture starts at the ground floor too.
Oh,
Starts
yeah.
with the first hire, my opinion.
Well, it
And goes
starts
from
with
there.
the
You got to look
founder.
in the mirror, bro. First hire right there in the mirror.
Yep.
Yeah, bro.
Well, as you hire new people, like especially one of the things I'm learning over the last couple of years, because I've hired more people over the last 2 or 3 years than I have in the last 10 years. At least the ones who have really given a shit, loved what they do, cared, communicated, whatever else, and they fit well, right? They're a reflection of me. Isn't that weird?
Core values.
Yeah.
And I thought, and those core values, we had a team discussion and built those just earlier on this year.
Yeah.
And some of those, like we try to figure out the commonalities in everyone,
Right.
and then that's how we built our core values, and not my core values. Although I am a part of all those. Like I abide by them, but I couldn't build certain things like culture, core values, or vision, or certain things like that until I had people that were on board.
They saw
and
the
had
same
similar
vision.
culture, and they saw a
Right.
similar vision. You know,
Yeah. And I say that because we kind of had the same, Abraham and I had that discussion at one point where, you know, I remember early on in business, we used to say, man, if we could just have like clones of ourselves, it'd be perfect. And I know every business owner has said that. If I could just have a clone of myself, dude, I'd be in business. Like, we'd be golden. But here I was, my brother and I, essentially as close to clones as you can get other than twins. And we're still just barely making it, right? There's only so much a human can do. That's just the truth. But it makes you wonder because as we progress, now here we are 6 years in, and the other day we're kind of like realize like, wow, our culture's kind of like, man, we're there. You know, our people, there's always going to be, you know, fluctuations, but for the most part, we have a strong group of people. And then we start to think about it, and it's like, oh, the core values. And Abraham's the one who said, he's like, core values, we used to say, you know, if we could just have clones of ourselves. But the core values is about as close as you're going to get in just the general world. Like, hey, if they fit those core values, they will have all their own, whatever it is, right, humanness, but they'll somehow still have that vision. They'll somehow still understand and work together whenever it comes down to it. It's like, well, certain things are just kind of held above others, you know?
Everything just always works toward a common goal.
Right.
Like
right.
you walk in the morning, everybody knows what they have to do.
Right.
Someone's got to fill up the lawnmower. Someone's got to fill up the gas tanks.
Right.
And then they've got, you know, the spreadsheets and
Right.
it just
Maria,
flows
do
really well.
you agree, or do you think that the stuff that we're saying is on par with where we're at and what we do?
You said
About the culture, about how like people, you know, just kind of show up and know what to do.
Just kind of
and
know what needs to be
know what
done.
needs to be done.
builds onto, of course, new people, it will be different because they're getting used to that. But
Yeah.
I feel like everyone here knows what to do, even if it's like the smallest thing that we get in and we know that we're gonna get coffee all together.
Yeah.
And then get catch up with.
You know, we talked about a podcast or two ago is giving a producer a microphone
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so then it's the voices behind the scene that you don't know.
It doesn't have to have a camera, but
Yeah,
like, just be
no
able
camera,
to speak.
just the voice.
Oh yeah.
Like Joe Rogan, you got Jamie in
yeah.
the back, you know. Hey, Jamie, look this up. Make it on the monitor. Put it up there.
Yeah.
Let's
Get
go.
a lower third.
Get it up there.
That's one of the cool things that we can do here too. So we can live stream
Nice.
on multiple platforms at the same time as we're recording, and we can record with anybody on the planet here, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
We got Zoom, and then it pops up there.
Come on now.
That's cool.
You did a great job with this.
Dude, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
Thanks.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
It's
okay.
fun.
So in the last, I think, is it fair to say that at this point on the Brews and Business podcast, you're just about frequently in here about every 6 months?
Yeah.
And you're pretty much doing a check-in, like a pulse check.
Right. Absolutely.
With us and with you.
Yeah. It's been really cool.
So real quick, let's start with you. Where have you win? Where have you won in the last 6 months? Is there anything where you're like, oh man, family wise or business wise, you're like, man, I remember this. This was
I think I'm probably most
Or even self-development.
excited about right now is I'm developing my first book,
Oh, hell yeah.
and it's a children's book.
Nice.
So if you know any illustrators, so it's Champ and Friends, and the whole premise of it is that loved ones want the children in their life to go further, faster, and have more knowledge than they had. And so, but loved ones don't feel resourced to train their children. So I want to meet that need. And so Champ and Friends is going to be one book initially, and then the 26 books where we explore the ABCs of leadership. And so it's going to be a new division of Unleash the Champ. Hope is that the book is published and be able to pre-order by Black Friday this year.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing I'm most excited about.
okay. I'm excited. Of course, I'll be able to buy it on Amazon. And stuff like
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just got to figure out how to do all that. But that's business.
That's part of it.
Yep.
So we do best.
I might know someone.
Okay.
I know somebody actually too that wrote a book. He goes to the gym. So next
Okay.
time we're up there,
Dope.
I'll get you linked up.
Okay.
I actually someone, one of our clients was like, hey, see this book? We're going to do this. I need you to help write it. I actually just wrote a book for a client. Of course, ChatGPT or some AI, but a little bit with some of my own input. So anyways, but so far it's pretty much on point. They love it. They've made some revisions. We're making some, whatever. But it's one of those like 5x4. It's like a small book or whatever. So I'm going to have to
Yeah.
talk to one of my publishers because there's a couple people I know
Sweet.
because of the studio,
Absolutely.
because they'll send in authors sometimes.
Yeah. So it's super exciting, and my 2-kid focus group really love the idea, so I'm running with it.
In-house, bro. R&D
in-house.
in-house.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Hey, you know what? That's part of the key to success. You got to get gassed up, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
You gotta
yeah.
be surrounded by the right people.
Yeah, and if it's only for my children,
You won.
I won.
Yeah, it doesn't
Come on,
matter
bro.
if you just sell one copy.
But it won't
if
be 'cause
they
I'll buy
find
it.
enjoyment through it.
I got
that's all that matters.
3 kids.
Abel, what you got? Where are you winning?
Oh man. Well, I think I was talking to you guys about it right before the podcast. Man, I've been designing some stuff in 3D. It's been kind of fun. I think that's kind of opening up some of my visions for the future of what my retirement life will look like. I can't wait to see what that kind of forms into. We'll see how it goes. So far, we're on a good track.
Cool.
Braden?
2 new hires. I mean, that's winning, and they're killing it. They're doing such a great job.
Big deal.
And then
Such a
big
great
deal.
job. It's so great. It's perfect.
Couldn't get any better.
No
Huge.
better. It's huge.
In the last 6 months, we've rebranded. I got the studio done, and I mean, I don't know where else. Emphasize on some services, and we're getting our billing in place. I mean, that's in progress, but that's good. Daughter's healthy. She's about to turn 1 next week. So
Oh,
yeah, we're gonna
smash cake
smash
coming.
cake it. Yep. My wife, she was like, I don't know if we're gonna, should we do a birthday for her? I was like, are you kidding? My daughter is going to have a birthday at 1. Why am I making a big deal out of this and not you? You're
Right.
the mom. Like usually
Yeah.
mom
No-
or women's do.
normally it's for the mamas.
But I'm like, no, I want to watch my daughter destroy the cupcake. She's gonna get a big one and she's gonna go have a heyday.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, well,
Absolutely.
not about the icing. I'm like, no, she's gonna have the icing and the cake. Like, you let
Get
her
it
have her
all. Yeah.
moment. Yeah. So I'm gonna look back
From
in 10 years and be
experience, they
like,
get very little of it, so it's okay. Just let them have it.
Right. It's
Yeah.
more of a mess
It's a
than
mess.
eating.
It's
yeah,
fun.
Yeah.
Which I'm not gonna lie, as a grown adult, you're like, man, I'd like to smash that cake too. It'd be fun. Why not?
We would eat more of it.
Dude, I'd smash it in my kid's face.
Like a pie?
Yeah.
Like clown style?
Dude, I mean, it's fun to watch the kids, but after they're done, I got older kids. I could just smash in their
There you
face.
go.
But in a business sense, we've got some better visions, better clarity on like where Sooner's at and where Sooner's headed. We have some ideas of where we're going to be hiring four roles, what our next new roles are in order for really every department in the whole business to function well. That's not happening anytime soon, so I got to wait. I mean, what else? I mean, outside of that, I'm trying to figure out how to fire myself, but not to where I'm leaving the business, but just figure out what are those next steps to
Right.
like, yeah.
Be able to get further away from it and not have to worry about it. Just
Yeah.
runs.
So I've had conversations with acquisition partners, but I'm not wanting to sell. I'd want someone to help with capital and processor people. So if someone comes in, they're like, great, I'll own part of the business, put in some capital, I've got some connections, we'll 10X it in 3 years, and I'm out. Cool. If it's the right deal, right partner. So I've had some conversations over the last 6 to 7 months about those.
Nice. That's huge.
Yep. But they want me at a certain revenue mark.
How much percent do you have to grow to get that mark?
Yeah, 15.
not
10,
bad.
10, 15.
That's not bad. You're close then.
That's doable.
Yeah, I'm right on the edge.
Yeah.
So of what those investors prefer.
Right.
at the
I'd rather you
market.
be here.
Yeah. So
It's like what we
because
had,
they've done it over and over and over again.
Right.
They
They
know-
know if
they
you're
could-
at
yeah.
this mark, we know what we can do.
Yeah.
Well, you got to be able to handle so much pain, and they didn't know that. I mean, that's just the truth behind it.
The higher the baseline, the higher the results. Like
Right.
no winter weight added on. The
Right.
cut looks so much better in the
Right.
summer.
Right.
Refinance credit card debt, and my credit score went up 40 some points,
There you go. That okay.
like this. And
Say
I'm-
like, what's the difference in a 745 and a 725? And they said a lot.
yeah, well, every 20 points
Yeah.
is when it's a whole new class. So I'm waiting for the next update, and I should be put into like another 2 more classes. So I'm waiting for it to almost hit 800 because of that. And I'm saving money in
I
interest.
think the highest I ever got was like 767. Yeah, we're not there no more. We're a little lower, but we're still all right.
I hate the whole credit game.
It's
I
so
was just saying, I think I
stupid.
checked out of that a while ago.
You
Just
can't
'cause-
though. I mean,
But
I'm
you
like you're
can.
forced to play the game,
No,
especially as an
but-
owner, because your credit score will impact how the business can grow and the
Right.
opportunities the business can have, and you know that too.
Right.
we had
but,
those conversations.
But
But cash flow can go a
I
long ways.
agree.
If you can flow more cash during.
and it goes both ways. I mean, I'm not saying you. When I say I checked out of it, I'm not saying you can completely check out of it, but you can minimize how much you're worried about it pretty drastically. I mean, we run pretty lean, I think, in the business and even in my personal life, to where the credit score. I mean, there's very little I can do to really affect it because I do so little with it. So it makes you wonder. I don't know what mine's
Yeah.
at, but I'm sure it's at a solid.
And because I
Actually, I should be
refinanced the
getting a
business
letter
credit
soon.
card debt, because I
That's just-
refinanced
this
that, not only did I
platform
save like $900 a month in interest, and my credit score went up, but I also was able to increase my credit lines on my personal side
Nice.
by 20 grand, which was like 30% of my credit limits. So
All the way.
that's just going to build up. So that's why
Nice.
I'm waiting to be put into that whole new credit class tier. Anyways, that's my wins. So Chance, what do you got?
That's nice. Hey, did you finish your patio?
At home?
Yeah.
No, it's been raining. And
Dude, I
muddy
fucking know.
and
That's
stuff.
why I was asking you.
I'm gonna do it tomorrow or tomorrow Sunday.
That's why I haven't finished my driveway.
Dude, I know. I literally asked that because he had a lot of progress then, and then it poured
It's
the next
crazy
day.
how
Like
much
a
water
monsoon
we
for-
get.
Yes, and I was
so
like,
quickly.
I literally told Kyla, I was like, damn, that sucks. And she's like, what? I was like, me and Braden both were out there working our asses off, and we got projects like halfway done and just flooded.
Yep.
I was like, this sucks. Like, whatever. I finished mine in the rain like 3 weeks later. I was like, I'm just gonna finish it.
Got to get it done.
I was like, I'm tired of walking in this mud. I'm done.
I gave
Just
Cole,
finish it in
I
the
gave
rain.
Cole and David shovels, and they went out in the rain, and they had a heyday just chopping up the dirt.
Oh,
and,
hell yeah.
And then the next day, I went out there and just
sit
with
in
the
the
rake
rain.
and leveled it.
Dude,
They loved it.
Little boys,
You're like,
dude,
can we
you
do
got a
this?
digger out there.
I know.
Put those boys on the digger and see if they don't go crazy.
They gonna
I'm
break
gonna have a new employee.
I'll train them right. I'll train them right.
Oh, that's where it
you got?
starts right there.
All right. So, as far as personal wins, I'd say I'm going to start getting into rentals. So, I've been trying to buy more trailers. I bought my first piece of equipment. Got a nice little Mini X. Got some work done on my truck. That's pretty nice.
Oh, it's pretty nice.
It's really nice.
How's VHP?
Not bad. We've got 3 customer cars from California for a film production studio. We just got the other one paid, and they're done on it, and they're shipping in another 5 series. It's like a 2022, and they want to do the same thing to the last one. Did a full matte black across
Nice.
everything. No chrome, no nothing. It's for film production. So they do commercials. They did one for Dodge. They've got, I think, 5 or 6 different cars, and I think we're up to this will be number 4 coming in right now. It's been going pretty good like that. I was able to fix my driveway. I'll show you a video of the monsoons, man. There's a river running through my yard.
Straight into his garage.
Straight into my shop. So my shop will be like 6 inches in water.
Holy crap.
So I put some drainage pipe in and going to regrade some stuff. But hopefully that deals with my water problem. So I'll be able to start working out of the shop. I'll connect the barn and the shop like I've been wanting to. And that's been pretty good.
You didn't want to raise ducks.
No. Starting a farm. I've got chickens. We're about to get goats.
Okay.
That's pretty cool. It's pretty
We're
cool,
going to
dude.
start selling farm fresh eggs,
Yes, please.
milk, cheese, all non-GMO, like organic stuff.
That's awesome. I eat a lot of eggs. So.
Greenhouse. Got a greenhouse coming in.
Bro, so many eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to need that greenhouse by wintertime.
Yeah,
Did
I
you
do-
see all
I
the
do too.
plants? Oh, I showed you, I think.
Yeah, at the house or at the shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to need it before it gets too cold.
I'm trying to get it, man. It's a 30 by 70 greenhouse, so pretty good size. It's got vents, fans, everything run through it. Building a little farm at the house. That's been pretty fun. And then as far as business, getting in, insurance, going back to the CE training, I have to carry 24 hours every quarter.
Right.
For this company in Owasso. So, yeah, continual training, you have to stay up on it. And as I am taking the courses, I'm always learning more, and that's finger time. What you got, Abel?
No, well, I don't have to do CE classes, and most entrepreneurs don't, right?
No.
Nobody requires them
And
to.
I'm working for a big company,
Right.
so that's just me.
But that doesn't mean you can't take them.
Right.
And I highly advise you take them every now and again. I mean, they're just great classes.
Even if you don't pay attention, just,
Right, like, you'll
listen to
learn
what other
something.
people are talking about, and it's going to naturally
Right.
start
Spark
connecting.
something.
And not
Yes.
only that, they're great networking opportunities. You know, if you're trying to infiltrate a certain industry,
You gotta make yourself known.
Yeah, CE classes are great. I know, like for me, I know certain roofers will hold CE classes, and they tend to target like real estate agents and inspectors and stuff like that. And it's like, well, you don't have to do it, but once a year or so, or every 6 months, pop into a CE class. It's a great way to meet people.
Yeah.
Great way to learn something new.
But that's pretty much it for me. I mean, yeah, personal more than anything right now.
But that's good.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to get your
House
personal in
has
order
been
before you.
It's been a big ordeal, but very blessed.
So as we transition into the diary of a CEO conversation cards, this is pretty much how it works. These cards have been designed to empower you and stimulate raw, honest, and unfiltered conversation like you've never known before. It's defining the value of the defining value that continuously drives humans as a collective. So I've got a card. I'll give you
Okay.
this one, and you can either start or you can pick one of us to start with it.
Okay.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun dun dun.
Jamie, where were you on the pianos? Next time.
If you had to give all your money away to one organization tomorrow morning, what organization would it be and why?
Oh, man.
Who's gonna start?
Braden.
Soldier's Wish. Yep. I love the people that are doing the work there. I like the cause and the mission that the purpose that they're serving. I like how they provide a value to a variety of people and their variety of needs and different value amounts, and the qualifications can be anything from you're a struggling veteran military personnel. We can repair your car. But here's $150.
Or
You're struggling, or
Option up for lawn services.
or you need
Can't cut your
a
grass
bathroom remodel,
Right.
and you're disabled, and we need to remodel it because you're missing your legs and you can't use your bathroom properly.
Right.
So like things like that. And there was this one veteran that came back from deployment, was missing his teeth, no teeth, smile, nothing. His wife he's got his wife and kids and stuff, and he hates smiling. And this was one of the Night of Honor things that they presented that they did from that wish that they granted, and this was last year. And seeing him with teeth versus without teeth, and the way he acted was phenomenal. So
night
like,
and day.
I don't know. There's
Oh,
there's
it
little
always is.
things, I'd say little, quote unquote, that just make a massive impact. You know, so
Love that.
I mean, if you know anything about me, St. Jude, I mean, I've seen it firsthand. You know, no one should have their child go through that. It's just a terrible thing. So, yeah, very simple for me.
I don't have a tie to an organization that I feel I would just give my
Like have a connection to,
right.
Yeah. That's okay.
But it's always been a dream of mine to give water. I think it's so sad that there's a lot of the world that doesn't have clean water to drink. So I'd probably pick something like that, or figure out some way to like just start digging wells somewhere.
The next Mr. Beast right here.
There you go.
There you
I
go.
don't know,
ARC Wells, and it's just a there you
That'd
go.
be cool.
DBA that now.
Look at
That'd be pretty cool. I mean, that's literally always been my thing. It's like, man, water has
Yeah.
always been a big thing for me. I'm like, there's a lot of things, but I'm like, it's crazy, and it's crazy because I waste so much water.
Everyone
and
in here
it just-
in this country
yes,
does.
and it's crazy how much water I waste, and my kids and my wife are always like, you're so anal about it. I was like, I know, but I waste so much of it already that like I got to stop you guys from wasting it.
Gotta offset it some way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think mine would be around youth sports,
That's a good one.
and it's part of the ultimate vision of Unleash the Champ. I want sports fields, and
That's the overall
part of it.
I know
you
somebody
go.
who can
Okay.
build and maintain
part
that.
of it.
There we go. Because I remember, like, I don't remember much of my childhood that didn't have to do with
Sport.
athletics. Like, I don't playing in the neighborhood, it was sports. My coaches, sports. And you learn so much teamwork. You learn so many life skills being in athletics. And so, but there's a lot of, athletics are expensive. My daughter, we just signed her up for like a 6-week T-ball softball thing. And I'm like, this is like a couple $100 that we're going to have to spend.
$190 registration plus another $50 for the uniform plus another $40,
She ain't got no
$60
bag,
for the
bag,
shoes.
this.
No
bag.
helmet, no
You're
pads.
$600
We got to get
in.
we got to get a bedazzled bow. I mean, that's a thing. But I would
Gotta
love
have the new
Bro.
glove.
On top of the fuel, the time, effort,
Yeah.
breakfast.
Admission.
You gotta have
Oh,
the
$12
chairs. You know it's
water.
gonna be hot outside.
You know,
so
as a
you
matter of
gotta
fact,
get a
she ain't doing
gazebo.
it.
Calling it off.
But
Hey, that's me right there. I'm like, you know what? We'll just go throw a ball in the park.
yeah. But I just
wasting too much water.
part of it is Unleash the Champ will have some type of nonprofit attached
Oh, I
to
love
it
that.
now.
Love that.
Have you heard of Forever Faith?
Abe,
Abe?
yes,
You know him?
I know of him.
Do you know he was here a few weeks ago?
Yes, I did see that. Yeah,
He's
So
cool guy.
I don't know, and he's got a big passion for kids in the community. You know,
he goes overseas a lot, right, to do that.
and here, well, I mean,
Okay.
yeah, I mean they're worldwide.
Okay,
I mean they're all
Yeah,
over the
it's
place.
all over the place.
So if you need that connection, let me know.
yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, I know of him, and people have said that we have similar visions. So it's
You have to talk at that point.
yeah,
This is
There's some
if I'm
synergy
the
there.
fourth or third, fourth, whatever
Yeah.
person. Yeah.
yeah. We gotta link up.
Sorry, I didn't mean
Yeah,
to
it's
interrupt.
cool.
We'll make it happen.
No, yeah, that's cool.
We're doing stuff.
Sports fields.
What's really sucked over the last 6 months?
Time away from my family.
Damn shit, I feel that one.
A year ago, I had more time with my family and less growth in the business.
I've heard that you have to do one or the other. You can't have both.
And now there's exponential growth in the business and exponential time away from my family.
So you need to hire someone,
And
take some of that away or something.
part
I
of
don't
it,
know.
yeah. And a lot of what I do right now is trading my time for money. So another phase that probably, again, there's a lot that I project by the end of the year is I want to get at least 1 to 2 other corporate trainers underneath me that then I can start sending out to these clients. But admittedly, I just don't find anybody that can do it like me yet. and that's my tension. But Ginger and I sat and had a conversation, and I said, babe, for me to, I'm 37 right now. I said, I want us to go on a 3-year sprint. And as long as, I think I said this, maybe the first or second, I have a rule that I will most of the time be at home for either breakfast or bath time. Anything other than that, like,
You say or?
mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm just making sure I
Yeah,
heard
breakfast
that right.
or bath time. Some mornings start at 7. Some mornings start, earlier than that. So I
Morning start at 4.
Yeah, trust
You
me.
know, like, yeah.
That's why I was just making sure I heard that because, I mean, if I'm home by bath time, I might leave by 4 a.m.
Right. Yeah.
I might get home at 8 for
Right.
bath time, but I'm leaving by 4 a.m. 'cause
So like
I
you're
got
trying to have that
sacrifices.
family time every day without
Some
skipping.
portion of it. Yeah.
At
love
least something.
I love that, man. That's good.
And so, because I was fighting this tension of I got to be home all the time because my kids are young, and oh my God,
Gotta
but
be
really
there.
for me, I'm going, the most impactful thing I can show is my kids of me going for it. And I mentioned this before, and I have email addresses set up for my kids. Have we talked about this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I
so
want to say we have.
Like the second episode.
Mm-hmm.
So when they were born, I created first name, middle name, last name at gmail.com. And I send them emails periodically.
You don't remember that?
No.
And
I
and
feel like I
so-
remember that.
And so it's, I mean, when they graduate high school, I'm going to
probably the
take them to dinner, and I'm going to give them the username and password.
Oh my God.
And so for
That's so cool.
Piper, for almost 5 years, there's like 16 emails in there. Not a lot, but I do it, and I speak in the language of them at 18. And so there's some that they both get. There's some that just Piper gets. Honestly, there's a lot more. I've emailed Bo a lot more in 2 years than I have in Piper in 5.
But you also have 5 years experience. Or
Like-
3 going on to 2. You
I
know?
feel I want to talk to Bo more as an 18-year-old. And so I email him like, hey, son, sometimes
You think
as a father, as a husband, here's some things. Like, I feel more like Bo's my legacy. He's my,
Yeah,
his
absolutely.
name's not going to change. Piper will marry and whatever. But
but I don't want them boys, bro.
I feel like with Bo, so it's just,
You need one more.
it's a cool,
I'm gonna get lucky and get
it's a
girl.
cool deal.
That's really cool. I've been contemplating and trying to figure out some methods like that would. I don't know.
Can't-
Like the word legacy, and you put that into an action format. That's going to make an impact, and the other thing, like if something were to happen to you, is crazy. So this is I'm not going to go off on a tangent, but I've had several people that I've lost in my life, and a number of those have been suicide. There's someone that I've known recently that's no longer with us, and I went to that funeral procession, and one of the things that was said was, you need to live with intention. You live with some legacy. Live with your kids and your family, and to live with purpose, and do things with intention. Spend time with the people that matter, and if something would have happened to you, your kids would have that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have any, I still have a voice recording in my Google Drive somewhere. And I pulled it up not too long ago. And it's my grandpa singing to me in my voicemail the last few months before he died. And he used to do this thing. He'd be like, lazy bones, sleeping on the day. You never get your work done that way. And he'd be like, wake up, son. And that was he used to call me every now and then and do that. And he was a big business motivator in my life. And that's kind of where I got my kind of entrepreneurship, whatever. It started back in 2009, where whenever he passed away, I got his shares of the business that he had started. Did everything I could to get up and going, and it didn't. I shut it down this year and whatever. So, but I respect that, and so I'm trying to figure out some things to do that's unique,
Yeah.
that will leave some thoughts behind, some values, some legacy, because you never know when you're going to go. You never know. And especially when you live life to the fullest, and that sounds cheesy, but it's true.
Right.
You know, and you don't live and try to live in a bubble and not talk to anybody, not go anywhere. Like, you know, Abel, if you disappear tomorrow, what are your kids going to remember you by? What are they going to have left behind? And it sounds cheesy, it sounds stupid to think about that, but you have more than just you to think about. You know, no offense to you, but you don't have kids yet. But when you do have kids, especially when you have kids, you need to think about it, you know, and try to think some of the thought process. I mean, whenever you start having kids, is like, you know, what happens to the family behind me? Because it's, you know, regardless if you're the breadwinner or not, you're still the leader of the household.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, so you need to try to make sure that your family is taken care of. If you were to take it out tomorrow, however that happened, how is your
Sounds
family?
like an assassination.
No, it's true.
Golly.
I mean, if the devil, the Lord, whoever, whatever, in whatever method that happens, if you were taken out tomorrow, what is,
If it's my time, it's my time.
you
What
know,
do I leave
If you
behind?
really care about the people around you or behind you or whatever, what have you done to set them up to keep going?
I'm trying, man.
Yeah,
You know,
I promise.
And again, like
I got the
I thought
vision
about
at the
you,
house, bro.
like you're a liability to your business and your family.
Absolutely.
Like you're at a huge risk. You are the business. If you get taken out tomorrow, you're screwed.
Yep.
Your family's screwed. I mean, they may have life insurance,
we
whatever,
got-
but
Thanks for reminding us
But
that
it's
we're all in
true.
the same boat, Braden.
yeah, no, but you know, some people don't think about this
No,
stuff.
but
and
right,
it's one of
you're
those
right,
things to
you're
where
right.
I discourage people from getting into business.
Yeah.
And I was just having a conversation with Maddie today about that, and I'm like, I just came across a whole new can of worms with HR, like because I'm now adding an IT service to where on all the devices and computers there's software that's installed. And did you know that involves HR? Did you know that an employee can sue me if I didn't give them a notice that they signed ahead of time saying that, hey, on your work computer you are now being monitored? And did you know that if I didn't like review my attendance and,
Can understand that.
and PTO
Yeah, right.
policies and stuff, but it's my computer, I bought it. Why do I have to have a policy? Okay, well, legally, there has to be a policy.
Because it's their
And,
actions.
they're-
and
Right,
just
yeah.
because this guy's over here pressuring me for a policy, also this brought me into the whole attendance conversation. So the culture, all this shit comes full circle between HR, IT, culture, employees, management, and cost and finances. In order for me to allow my people to be able to work remotely, they have to have a device to be able to do that. IT costs me per device. They don't need to install personal software on their computers. That's also not good. Not good for me, not good for them. So I have to provide them with something to be able to work remote if need be. If something happened to the building, if some weather, whatever it is, they can still work from home, right? They all have desktops. Now I need to figure out how to replace those desktops with laptops, right? There's a cost. And then there's also the notice of the HR thing I talked about, right? So it's just crazy how all this stuff happens. And I'm just like, no, a lot of people don't think about this when you get into business. I'm like, don't get into business. And Maddie was like, this is why I'm not a business owner and this is why I'll work for you.
That's why this is so
Yeah.
much easier.
yeah.
Smart
Yeah,
people
and
do
it's
that.
Yeah,
part
right.
of the struggle. It's you know
Start to think
there's
that-
a cost to everything.
Oh yeah.
There's a cost to success. There's a cost to struggle.
Yep. Yep.
The cost is.
And what is the
cost.
financial value of some of that too? So like you and me both, and you two or whoever else, right? Like you're missing out on quality family time.
Right, but
if
is it
I got a
always
9 to
a
5
financial
job
value?
and I got paid the same or more, would it be worthwhile?
Right.
Like, why am I venturing out on my own opposed to going to work for some corporation getting paid 70, 90, 150, whatever it is, thousand a year?
Well, first of all, because you've been a self-employed for 10 years, which means you're officially unemployed.
Yeah, you
You're
don't have any-
unemployable.
Professionally
Boy, buddy.
unemployable.
I mean, good luck.
At
but,
this point, I'm screwed.
Yeah,
You got a big gap in that resume.
good luck.
Can you
A couple
explain
years
this?
ago,
Yeah.
a couple
was
years
just in
ago, I
charge of my
tried
own
to apply
life.
for jobs.
Sorry.
People wouldn't
It
hire me a
doesn't
couple
happen.
years back. They
Hey,
wouldn't.
but I want to go back to that question because I love that question of the good, but I want to hear the bad also. I'm going to, Chance, you want to go next?
About
Or
what?
no?
What's the
worst?
struggle?
What's the struggle right now? Anything going on? Just life. We said what's good, what's bad? What are you working on?
Getting my driveway level.
Come on, man.
Flooded garage.
My man said the biggest struggle in his life is
It's
his
this
driveway.
Yeah,
I
right
know,
now.
Right. Oh man.
Why do you have to be so negative all the time?
Oh, you don't. You don't. I was just
I'm
asking.
living a very good life right now. Like
That's good.
this week, I'm not worried about nothing
Playing
right
footsies?
now. Maybe a little bit. Why'd you put your foot up here? It wasn't there a second ago.
I've been here the whole time.
Anyways,
We'll check the footage.
Well,
It's probably gonna be
the
true.
struggle may be just the learning curve of all that you're doing.
Honestly, just the transition between being from going from like, well, just like I used to be so labor intensive. That's the only job
Yep.
I've ever done.
Yep.
So going to inside now, I'm on the computer talking to people on Zoom, making meetings. You know, if they have a question, I got to get back to them. I don't know. I have to figure it out, and then that has been the biggest issue for me, I guess you'd say.
You'd
is-
rather sleep like a king after a whole day working outside.
Dude,
in
I
the
work
brutal heat.
outside, no problem.
Yeah, right.
Like,
You
I will
sleep
dig a
great.
ditch, and yeah, that ain't no issue.
Working
But
in here? Oh, that sucks.
that transition has been the issue for me. Because even like side work has always been just physically on cars or anything. But, transitioning into an actual different company and like working for somebody else just remotely. And I go in 2 or 3 times a week up to Owasso at the branch. But mostly remote work, honestly. And I enjoy it, but having the discipline to sit down and actually do my hours, do the work, that's the hard part.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my struggle, I guess you'd say.
That's good. I'm gonna have to touch base on Kyle's. Honestly, I'm in the same boat as him. I think I don't know. I'm in a particular moment right now where there's some growth and there's some. Man, forgive my language, but I feel like God's testing me and he's just fucking with me. And I love it. I think he's really testing me to see how bad I want it. And I think he's trying to just.
Prove to you that you actually do want it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Because it sounds crazy, but my little girl started asking us to pray. And we're not religious by any means. Like, we don't do church. We don't talk about God. Like, I'm a very firm believer that there's a higher power, but we don't go to church. We don't read the Bible. We don't do any of that. But we're definitely not in control of all of this. I promise you that. And if you think we are, you're all wrong. I promise you. Something up there is taking care of us. But they started asking us to pray recently, and every night I've been praying for a house, and because we've outgrown our house. That's just the only way to put it. And at the same time, there's a lot of shit just going on at home where I just feel like I'm away from home, right? I'm trying to focus on the business, but I'm really not. I mean, I cook breakfast for my family and show up to work by 9 o'clock at least 3 days a week. Like that's pretty good.
That's good, yeah.
That's pretty good. I'm home by like 6 to 7 most days.
Bills are paid and nothing's on
Bills
fire.
are paid. I mean, I go home for lunch every day. Like, I spend a lot of time with my family, but my business isn't growing the way I want it to.
Right.
So I'm struggling because on one end, I feel like I'm not connecting with my family the way I want to connect with them. On the other end, I feel like I'm not taking care of my family the way I want to take care of them. And then I also know that the reason I'm not taking care of my family the way I want to is because I'm not putting the time I need to in my business. But I've been praying to God that I need this house. And man, he's just funny. I'll just put it that way. Yeah, he's a fun guy. I'll say that. But so we've been saving money. We've been paying stuff off. You've been through this a couple years ago, right? And I get a call on Monday, and I missed the call, and I get a voicemail. It's like, hey, this is your landlord. You rent one of our houses. I just want to talk to you about the house. And I'm like, man, I've been needing to talk to somebody because I need to move out of this house. Like, I've been needing to talk to somebody and tell them I'm leaving because I've been saving money. I've been paying stuff off. I haven't found the house yet, but I'm working on all the stuff to get the house. And he calls me, and I call him back on Tuesday, and he finally calls back in the afternoon because he didn't answer. And he's like, hey, man, so I got a little bit of a situation. I'm like, okay, what's up? And I'm expecting, like, either rent's got to go up. I've been there for 4 years. Rent's never gone up. And I'm like, COVID, I get it, something, right? And I was like, man, okay, what's up? He's like, man, I'm looking to sell that house. I'm like, okay. So you're like looking to sell it to an investor? You're looking to sell it outright? What's the deal? He's like, well, the manager who you talked to told us that if we ever wanted to sell the house, talk to you first because you had asked about buying the house because it's a great rental. Like anybody who's trying to get in, it's a great little rental house. It is. And he's like, so you mentioned it. He's like, and we're actually looking to sell. I was like, okay, so you're going to sell outright? He's like, yeah. He's like, so how soon could we get you out? I'm like, oh, God, really? Really? And it's almost like God's like, I've been trying to give you signs to get out of that house. But you just won't listen, so I'm going to kick you. Right, I'm going to kick you. And it's just funny because in one end, I feel all
We
this
moved me,
pressure.
now it's time to move him.
Yeah.
Right. Like I feel all this pressure, right, of like the business, the family, and just everything, right? And then this happens, and I just can't help but laugh. And I'm just like, man, whatever.
Have you ever heard
you got a plan.
You ever heard the story of the flood? Where it's like, guys like, it's about the flood. You have to leave. No, it's okay. God will take care of me.
Right.
All right, now the rain comes. Now it's like it's on its grass. No, it's okay. You know, come on, let's go. No, it's okay. God will take care of me. Well, now it's in his house.
Yeah.
No, you know, send a search party. You know, "Oh, let's go, let's go. No, you know, now he's on his roof. A helicopter shows up. Hey, let's go, let's go. No, it's okay. God will take care of me. And then he dies. And he walks up to God and is like, "Why didn't you didn't take care of me? You know what happened?" He's like, "I sent you a search party. I sent you a helicopter. I sent you a boat. I sent you 3 cars."
Yep. That's about how I feel right
Sometimes
now.
God just pushes you in a way you don't want to go, but you need to go.
And you know, I mentioned the designs earlier about kind of just figuring out how I'm gonna manage my family and manage all of it. I used to know a guy, but he switched to all insure.
Yeah.
We all know who we're talking about. But anyways, you know, it's just hard. I think I'm right there with you, man. It's trying to figure that out. And I think as I get closer to my 30s, I'm turning 30 in August, and I get into my 30s, I've always said, like, that's my prime. Like, my 30s will be my prime. My 40s, I'm going to, like, really get it settled in.
Is that what you feel, Braden?
I don't really
30s
know.
are it.
Like, yeah, like 30s are prime. Like, hey, you really, I feel like in my 30s, kind of like you, Kyle, I really think you're getting closer to your 40s, bro. You really got like a
What you
good
actually-
idea
what you
of
want.
what it is you're going to attack now.
100%.
You know what sucks
Right.
is it takes so long.
And it does take long, but and we talked about the 7 years before, right? And
Yeah.
like that whole cycle. It's like, hey, the reality is like it does take a long time.
You know what I
As
hate is the pressure of hearing from other people. They're like, "Yeah, you know, I did this in 3 years,
yeah, but
in 2 years,
I don't take
you know,
that.
in 18
you know,
months." I'm like, that is not the common expectation,
Right.
and there's more to your story
But-
than
right,
what you
and-
just led me with. Because now I'm leaving to believe that it should be that easy, and I'm wondering where I've messed up and why am I still here?
Well,
It's when
he-
he's tried it for like 4 or 5 years and it hasn't worked, and then he actually tried it for 18 months and
right,
it worked.
and it worked, and that's what.
and he's like, "I did
but you
this in
have
18
6
months." I'm
years
like,
of
"Wait a minute."
experience.
Right. And that's what, like with Kyle right now, he said, you know, he talked to Ginger and you guys like, hey, I need to go on a sprint. And what that is basically talking,
Bless you.
excuse me, talking as a family and saying, hey, we're agreeing to make some sacrifices. That's it. Why? Because those sacrifices will be an investment, and we're not going to be very happy about it sometimes. And then other times it'll be great. And then, you know what? At the end of that time, we will reconnect. We will reconvey what the situation is. But the reality is this is the best with the information we have right now. You know, and I think as a man especially, man, the pressure we put on ourselves here lately, I tell you, the pressure, my wife's been on me, dude. She's been just on me, and I couldn't figure out why. And then finally the other day I broke, and I realized why. Like, because my wife realizes there's something wrong with me. Like, you're not you. Something's wrong with you. I need you to help me. Did it go off again? That's all right. We can keep going.
Yeah, we keep talking.
Okay. Anyway, she like noticed there was something wrong with me, right? And I was like, well, you know, we're just talking, and in the grand scheme of things, it's like, wow, I have this whole idea. As men, we have this idea of this life we're gonna give our families. I was talking to him and his older brother the other day. Yeah, bless you. I was talking to him and his older brother the other day, and it's like, no. But here's the thing: we as men have this crazy idea of this life we're gonna provide for our families, where our wives have a way to just like they don't care.
They're just living the
don't.
life.
We
We
want,
have the
They
vision.
want a nice, simple life, and they're there to support whatever it is we want. But
Absolutely.
But sometimes we would kill ourselves over things that generally don't matter to
Doesn't
the family.
matter.
It don't matter to the family, and we have a tendency to forget that as men, and that's kind of sad. But it's life, and I don't think it's life is necessarily, but it's society. I think the American
we've
society
grown up in,
wants us
what
to,
our
right.
generation, or at least our
But I'm definitely
views.
finding that same battle as you right now, man. Is how do I find that balance? And there's no balance. I know that, but right now I'm trying to figure out who's priority and how do I manage that priority. And I think right now I'm just like, wife, I just need to sit and talk with you for like a solid weekend where we just don't disconnect, no interruption from the kids, no interruption from work. We just need to figure out what the hell we want for the next 5 to 10 years.
You need a strategy
And
sesh
then-
with your wife.
Yeah, and then
Right.
trust me, I'll get to work. I'll get to work, and we'll get there, if not really close. I promise you.
You got a playbook for a strategy session with your wife?
Right. Absolutely.
Get a module going.
Yeah,
there
man.
you go.
It's and again, so much of it is just setting intention.
Right.
And
I agree with
when,
that.
Communication.
When we went on the sprint, it was I actively This would be a good soundbite. I actively chose to frustrate my wife.
Oh,
In a positive
In
way.
the-
in a positive manner.
Yeah.
No, hell no.
Oh,
Oh.
shit. Okay.
No, this is why it's going to be a good clip. Because I knew what needed to be done in the midst of what would frustrate her.
I get
Oh
that.
man, I've had to do that.
That hits home for me. I get that.
That's
and
hard.
So, and I told her, like, I know you don't want me to leave for this appointment, but I'm going. I know you don't want me to go on this trip, but I'm going.
Sometimes it's not what you want.
It because I think it will lead
Benefit
to this.
to our
And it was
end
about
game.
a year before it really started paying off. So there was a lot of tension that I would get in my truck or, to drive to the airport or drive to wherever this thing was. And I'm driving going, I'm actively pissing off my wife.
And you want everything in your soul to turn around and not piss her off. too.
Right.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
then,
but you're
like
saying
now,
no to your future.
Now
That
we
would
can
have
talk
diminished.
100%.
Yeah.
Now we can talk. And just last night we were talking and I was like, your entire mood has changed because there's
she
more
sees it
security and
too.
she sees it now.
Yeah.
I saw it for the long time when it wasn't producing anything.
Right. Right.
She is seeing now because it's actually tangible.
Have a
Well, 'cause
result.
She has. We've talked about this, right? She has something to create with. You're giving her things to
Right.
create
And she
with
can
now.
multiply.
She can multiply. Up until now, it's been scarce,
Mm-hmm.
and we have to go through a period of that. We have to. Have to.
I mean,
Scarcity
even,
makes
And
everything
even
so much
right now,
better.
I'm not saying it's abundance.
No.
But it's enough that she can work with.
absolutely.
And she's like, you know what? Okay.
And even 6 months
'Cause-
ago, it was her going, when is this ever going to pay off? When is this ever going to pay off? When is this ever? And I'm like, it's right around the corner. I'd have a meeting and
It's
I'm like,
always
hey,
right around the corner.
I'm like, we're
It
right
is,
around
though.
this bend here. It's like Fast and Furious.
2 more
drifting.
weeks. Just 2 more weeks.
But it always is, though.
Just a couple weeks.
You know it is because I feel like I said right now, God, I feel like is testing me, and it's like that because I feel like every time right before you hit that next level of your life, it's just like it just feels everything's about to fall apart, and you're just like, man, if it's just one more thing gets laid on top of me, and that's literally the conversations I had with my wife like 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, and then I get called from my landlord. I'm like, oh, thanks God, okay. I literally said I couldn't do anymore, and then bam, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, he's like, I've been
see.
trying to tell you.
I
Come
see
on.
now.
But I love that, dude. It's just the reality of like, it takes time, and then it does come. It does come, and you got to see that vision. It's so hard sometimes to continue and see that vision. And I remember you came in. I don't know. I think it was episode 2 with us where you were struggling, dude.
Oh, yeah.
You're just like, dude, I don't know. Like I'm working.
Working.
And it's just not working out, and I'm working. And then slowly but surely, here it comes. And then now, the change is happening.
Right.
And like you said, there was those times where you saw something. And I think we realize that, there's times where our wives will see something
sure.
and we got to listen whether we like it or not.
Yep.
Right. And mama's going to do as mama knows best. And sometimes we got to do the same thing, right? And it never comes at like a sacrifice for physically, anybody, but emotionally, it does take a toll on the kids. It does take a toll on the wives. It does take a toll on ourselves. Dude, it's hard leaving for a trip like that. And you're thinking to yourself, man, my wife's
Knowing your
pissed.
daughter's at the baby gate on the edge of your
Right,
bedroom door looking
right.
for you.
Right.
Yep. You're
Right.
not there.
And you're literally leaving and you're like, man, this sucks.
Yep.
But
Getting videos
At the
and
same
pictures of
time-
moments that you're not at.
right. And I say that because right now with you say your
Sucks.
wife changes. Well, I went to a networking thing. I'm sure we've probably heard of it, maybe. But there's like free coffee Fridays in Sapulpa. But it's like open up, just come and get coffee. Hopefully you'll meet some business owner and you can leave. But anyways, I got a call from one of my customers. He's like, hey, it's free coffee Friday. You gonna come? And it's like 7:15 in the morning. I'm like, man, yeah, I guess I'll make it. And I was gonna cook breakfast that morning. But now I get called on business, and it's funny because you say the attitude has changed. My wife just, well, I love you. Have fun. Have a good day at work. And I was like, well, I was going to cook breakfast. She's like, it's fine. You haven't done a networking thing. Boom, send me on my way. And I show up, and the first thing my customer says, "Dang, I only got one of the brothers." I'm like, "Well, the other one's got 6 kids." And my wife kicks me out of the door and sends me to this shit. And he just laughs, and he's like, "Really?" I was like, "Because she sees it. It has been work, but she knows that coffee,
That leads to
it
that
leads
deal.
to something. And it may not lead to anything right now. It may not lead to anything ever.
Right.
But
The possibility.
not going definitely eliminates that possibility.
1000%.
Nonetheless, she got a coffee that day.
It's 100%.
Very delicious coffee, she said. But it's just hard because there's certain times where sometimes, it just gets hard.
Yeah.
And your wife is like, "Why?" Like, you're tired. And then it does change. And you're like,
I emailed Bo a few months back, and I told him that one of the axioms that I live by, that I hope he does too, is that he always chooses to be a good man over a nice guy.
mm-hmm.
Meaning, there's times where you have to make decisions that know that, as a man, I believe that we're called to protect, provide, and preside.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that means that you're not going to be perceived as nice by doing it. And luckily, the stress of all of that is what pressure is a privilege.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like a walking tweet, but I have these axioms that
Walking tweet.
I like that.
I don't want to say a walking X. That's weird. But like a walking tweet, and that is what you're saying is sometimes we have to carry the vision before it is experienced by those we care about.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
When I came like episode 2 or whatever, the only thing that sustained me was what I saw with my eyes closed.
Yep.
Right.
And
right.
now, almost at the end of year 4, I'm starting to experience some of what
the
I
vision.
saw July 1st, 2020.
4 years ago.
4 years ago.
I'm finally starting to
See
experience
some of it.
Yes, I understand
And listen,
that.
I'm not trying to hurt you here, but we're going to get again.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
And you know what that means? Is you're about to unlock the next level.
That's
Yep.
Right? And it happens
Level
over
up.
and over, dude.
I can't do the voice I was
But-
trying to.
But I say
Level
that.
up.
There it is.
I say that because that's it, dude. We're going right now, like I said, through that in my family, and you realize the growth. You come together as a wife and husband and as a family. You're just like, man, I wouldn't rather do this to nobody else. It's so hard to do this on my own because we're fighting ourselves is what's going on. We're fighting ourselves. We look in that mirror every day and you're like, you should have been an hour, 2 hours. You should have been at work 2 hours ago, but you also just fell asleep 2 hours ago. And it's
Right.
like
Running on 4 hours of
right.
sleep
And
right
it's
now.
like, whoa, but we do that to ourselves. And like I said earlier, the wives have a tendency to just say, hey, will you just slow down? Just slow down. It's not that big of a deal. And sometimes that's literally what
The
what
problem will
catapults
still be
us.
there tomorrow.
But sometimes that's what catapults us is the fact that they're able to slow us down, so that way we can just take off again.
Maria's always sending me home. She's always like, "You need to go home. Go see your wife. Go see your kids."
Dude,
I'm like,
peace.
I'm almost there. I'm only gonna be here another hour, and then it's like 8 o'clock, and I'm like,
Like 3 hours later.
Sorry.
Yeah.
She's been gone for 2 hours.
Hey, but I do want to say I love that you and Ginger sit together and talk about those things and expectations and realities of how, it's hard to have those conversations. I know, it's hard. It's hard, especially once you start involving kids. It gets even more difficult to be like, this is what I want. Well, then you have those conversations in the morning. It's like, well, shit, this is what I need. The wants are kind of out the window because the kids take care of those.
Right.
But the needs, this is what I need. And as you grow, just being able to be more intentional with those needs for each other, and just slowly, man, that's just beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it. That's awesome. Go ahead. You guys should do your finger thing. I'm distracting me.
Finger time.
I
over
didn't
here.
realize it was on your part of the camera, so I was like, and then I'm over here like playing with it on your side.
Ridiculous.
Okay, so we're getting pretty close on our time here.
Yeah.
Kyle, I got one question. I may have asked this before, but it's okay. You may have a different answer. Are you lucky or are you smart?
Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So I'd say I'm pretty lucky.
All right.
I like that answer.
I do
Yeah.
too.
I'm with you. Lucky.
Yeah. It's
I would choose luck over experience or anything every day. Because that just means that you're not enough, and the luck allows you to get to that next step quicker.
Yeah, it's how you define luck. If it's, you get given an opportunity, there's a door open. Okay,
So
your
are you
ability to walk into it, so competency or smarts
Or comes into play.
comes into play. But it's a
But
tough thing.
were you smart enough to put yourself into that opportunity, or were you lucky that opportunity was arise, and you were smart enough to take advantage of it? You see the play on the words there?
And I get it. But can I say you were disciplined enough to show up?
So then you were smart enough. So you're still smart enough to make yourself disciplined. Okay, it's smart. It's just we're generic, broad.
Yeah,
that
okay.
term,
So you're smart
you know.
enough to get lucky. Is that what we're ending up at?
Maybe
That's why I
don't
say
know if there's no
discipline.
answer to it. It's just a thought process.
But I
no
think you
answer.
could take somebody that doesn't have experience and put them in lucky scenarios, and they will eventually gain the skills needed.
enough times, but they're going to crash and burn.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
That's
But
okay.
But if they're
Happens.
smart enough,
they'll
continue to give themselves opportunities to crash and burn and eventually succeed.
So the
hopefully.
answer is
But how many
yes.
times until you crash and burn until you fail? So anyway,
So
cool
yes,
question.
yeah.
Kyle,
So yes,
Chicken or egg?
Kyle, shout out. Tell me why I need to go a hold of you and where I can.
Yeah, absolutely. Unleashthechamp.com. You can email me directly, Kyle at KyleJ, as in John, Sullivan.com. And why, if you are leading a team that's growing, you're about to let go or hire new people, you need training, you don't have a training and development department, or you as the leader are feeling overwhelmed by the weight of everything, I can help and have solutions directly tied to that.
Oh, that was solid.
So nice.
All right. Oh, that almost sounded like the intro. Did you like the new intro, by the way? You seen it? You
Yeah,
saw
I
it.
did.
I've seen it.
That's cool.
It's nice.
All right. All right. Well, thank you for joining us on the Brews and Business Podcast today. If you've enjoyed today's episode, leave a review, like, comment, share, tag a friend. If there's something valuable in this, definitely send it to a buddy, relative, whatever, it doesn't matter. Check out brewsinbiz.com. That's brews, letter N, and then biz.com. That's where you can listen, you can shop, you can learn. There's also, if there's somebody that you think that should be on the podcast, there's a link on there to be able to submit a guest form somewhere in here. Maybe we'll edit that in. I don't.
they do that every time, but I don't
Every
think
now
we'll
and
ever
then.
edit it.
That's okay. That just goes back to my YouTube stuff. Like
Yeah.
me and Bailey did YouTube for
Bing,
6
bing,
years.
bing,
So it's
bing.
like click the link down
Click the
below.
link below.
Follow me on Instagram.
Link in bio.
Link in bio.
Bye. Anyways,
just kidding.
all of your guys' support is greatly appreciated too. So, Kyle, thank you for joining us again today.
Absolutely.
We look forward to seeing you again
No
by
doubt.
the end of this year.
Right. I'll see you in
I'll see
December.
you I'll see you in December.
See you a little bit before Christmas, between Christmas and Thanksgiving. Yeah.
That's right.
Because last
for a
time I was
pulse
in
check,
I was in the mountains when you were on last time with Mason.
Yep.
Yes, you were.
Yeah.
Yep. So, until then, we'll see you next time.